Welcome to the Matthews Report. Biggest story in the news the past 24 hours has been Joe Biden pardoning his son Hunter. In my view, the real story is that there's still hundreds of people from January 6th who are sitting in prison. I've got an eyewitness account from that day that might be different from anything you've heard. I'll share that with you. But first, here's some funny videos of Joe Biden and the Democrats saying he would never pardon Hunter.
Will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
You have.
Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
Is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Well, is there?
I just said no.
And I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
I could speak for the president, and he said he would not pardon his son, and I'm just going to leave it there.
So that is what it is. Nobody really cares about Joe Biden or Hunter Biden at this point, but what is important is there's hundreds of people still sitting in prison over January 6th for doing as little as walking into the Capitol in some cases, and unfortunately, the whole Capitol portion of January 6th was a setup. There was federal agents in the crowd doing all sorts of shady business. The chief of the Capitol Police at the time, Stephen Sund, testified before Congress and told Tucker Carlson in the interview that actually got Tucker Carlson fired from Fox when he had the #1 show on television. He told him this.
But Stephen Sund was the totally non-political, worked for Nancy Pelosi. I mean, this was not some right-wing activist. He was the chief of the Capitol Police on January 6th. And he said, oh, yeah. That crowd was filled with federal agents. What? Yes. Well, he would know, of course, because he was in charge of security at the site.
The director of the FBI, Chris Wray, he went before Congress. They asked him about this point blank. He couldn't deny it. In any other circumstance, he would easily be able to deny this. He couldn't do it.
Did the FBI have confidential human sources embedded within the January 6th protesters on January 6th of 2021?
Well, Congressman, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I have to be very careful about what I can say about when
Even
we
now,
are.
because that's what you told us 2 years ago.
May I finish? About when we do and do not, and where we have and have not used
You
confidential
have
human
confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I had to be very careful.
It
of
should
what
be
I
a
can
no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol.
Gentleman's
on January
time
6th.
has expired.
You should not read anything into my decision not to share information.
Director Ray,
confidential human
gentleman's
sources.
time.
So here's an example of this. Here's a guy named Ray Epps who's dressed up like a Trump supporter. He's at the events the day before January 6th. He's there on January 6th. He's encouraging people to go in the Capitol. He's shouting, go in the Capitol, go in the Capitol. People are like, what are you talking about? No, don't listen to this guy. This guy's a Fed. He's saying, go in the Capitol. He's walking around saying it everywhere. He's at the gates on January 6th, whispering things into people's ear right before they break down the gates. This guy ended up being interviewed by the FBI, wasn't charged, didn't go to jail. Nothing happened to this guy.
We need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. What? Tomorrow? I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested. Well, let's not say it. We need to go. I'll say it. All right. We need to go in.
Shut the up, boomer.
To the Capitol.
Monument Hill.
President is done speaking. We are going to the Capitol, where our problems are. It's that direction. Please spread the word. All right. No, Dave, but one more thing.
Yeah, so can we go up there? No?
When we go in,
Are we going to get arrested if we
leave
go
this
up there?
here. You don't need to get
Did you
shot.
arrest us all?
Okay, here's my eyewitness account of January 6th, my eyewitness account of that day. I lived in DC at the time. I was interested in all this stuff going on, so I went down there that morning for Trump's speech. I get there, and it is the most people I've ever seen in my entire life in one place. I was in DC in 2018 when the Capitals won the Stanley Cup. I saw that parade. There was hundreds of thousands of people there. I saw it 2019 when the Nationals won the World Series. There was hundreds of thousands of people there. I saw both of them up close and personal. I was there. This had way more people than both of them.
By the way, this goes all the way back past the Washington Monument. Do you believe this? Look at this.
You look at that behind. I wish they'd flip those cameras and look behind you. That is the most amazing sight. When they make a mistake, you get to see it on television. Amazing. Amazing. All the way back.
I still have not seen a picture or a video that really does it justice to show how many people were there. It was the National Mall, all the way down to the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial, the whole area from the monument all the way down to Pennsylvania Avenue in the White House. All the streets were filled. As far as the eye can see in every direction, there was people. And the energy there was not a malicious energy. It was like it was a very calm, very like nervous energy. It was like everyone was waiting to see what was going to happen.
And by the way, does anybody believe that Joe had 80 million votes? Does anybody believe that?
Now, there was 2 events in DC prior to this, one after the election and one in December that were like post-election stop the steal type of events. I went to both of those too. The first one, I think, had a comparable amount of people to the Caps and Nats parades. That's how many people were there just at these November and December events. Now, at those events, there was agitative groups that you would see as you were walking around, like Antifa and these groups that were very angry at the Trump supporters that were walking around. A friend of mine had spit go right past her face. These people were angry and you could see them there. Now, on January 6th, they were nowhere to be found. You couldn't see these people anywhere. Everyone you saw, it felt like was on your side, okay? So everyone there at Trump's speech, it was a calm, nervous energy, and that's what it felt like.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
So Trump's speech ends, and some of the people that are at Trump's speech, not all, but some, start making their way down towards the Capitol. Now, I'm there by myself. When you're by yourself in a crowd, it's kind of easier to maneuver your way through. So I get towards the front of the pack of people that are going from Trump's speech at the White House to the Capitol. When I get far enough down where I can see the Capitol and I have eyes on it, I know right away this is a totally different event. This is not what we were just doing at Trump's speech. There's people who have already been there while Trump was speaking. This is already going on. There's already commotion going on. There's already tear gas in the air. There's already people yelling and fighting. There's people up on big podiums being, come on in, come on down, go up to the Capitol. There's all sorts of craziness going on, and a lot of the people that were at Trump's speech are looking and they're like, what the heck is this? So I stopped in my tracks, and a lot of people did alongside of me. I'm hundreds of yards away, just enough to kind of be in eye shot. We're stopping in our tracks, and we're like, what the heck? We want nothing to do with that. Another point, at the Capitol, there's tons of people wearing masks. When I'm at Trump's speech and there's conservatively hundreds of thousands, in my opinion, 1 million people, you hardly saw a single person wearing a mask, maybe nobody wearing a mask. And you get down to the Capitol, there's all these people wearing masks, there's all these different kinds of people who are not the people that were just at Trump's speech. The vibe at Trump's speech, the calm, cool, nervous vibe, totally different vibe down at the Capitol, and not the same type of people, much more like the people who were harassing us and trying to spit on my friend at the first event. So when I saw it, I got eyes on it. I'm like, I'm getting the heck out of here. I want nothing to do with this. My gut instincts kicked in. Some people's didn't. They got caught up in it. They got roped in. And as a result, a lot of people have had their lives totally ruined. They got these charges in some cases for just standing around inside the Capitol. And they've had trials that have gone on and gotten delayed and delayed and delayed. And they've been in prison, in some cases solitary confinement, especially in the DC jail. People have gone through hell. I've got a link in the description if you want to see some articles about what people have gone through as a result of January 6th. So I think it's time. I'd like to see most of, if not all of the January 6th prisoners get a pardon, just like Hunter Biden. This has been the Matthews Report. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.